All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to your favorite wrestling podcast, Down for the Count. It's New Year, same us, whatever. As always, I am Alexis, and with me tonight we got the OG3, we got Tiff and Nicole, and we got Rico in the back here, just spitting out commentary when he feels the need to. We got NXT playing in the background, so we know what's kind of going on. Thought maybe we'd be coming back a little later in the year, but everything wants to pop off. Everyone think everything wants that crazy and all that shit. So welcome to 2025. Ladies, say hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Want to say hi?
What's poppin', bitches?
Oh my god.
It's Rico. Rico's in the background. Just so you know.
Yeah, he's in his happy space right now. So we got a lot on the docket tonight. We're gonna talk about the new Raw era on Netflix and how already it's pissed people off and made people very happy. We're gonna talk about Corey Graves and his little hissy fit that he's been throwing for the past couple of days. Let's get the big elephant out of the room because it's taking up a lot of space. Vince came out and talked about the Netflix documentary that was done on him, as well as the findings with the SEC. Now, if y'all don't want to remember, because a lot of crap happened last year with Vince, and for those of you watching us live on YouTube right now, please follow us on YouTube. Tiff has the statement up here. She's going to read it because I know y'all are already sick of it. So pretty much Vince was, they're like, yeah, dude, you pretty much laundered money, and the lady who was unfortunately treated so horribly by Vince was rewarded, unfortunately, for all her pain and suffering. But Tiff, do you want to go ahead and read what Vince put out as a statement?
So he put out two statements. There was one put out in September. This was around the time that the Netflix documentary had went live. Everyone wanted to know how he felt about it. For some reason, they requested a statement from him. In the statement that is up on the screen right now, if you're watching us live on YouTube, you can see it. If you are not, then if you're watching us over on Spotify, which you can, you should be able to see it. It might be in small print, so I'm going to read it for you. It says, I don't regret participating in the Netflix documentary. The producers had an opportunity to tell an objective story about my life and the incredible business I built. Okay. Which were equally filled with excitement, drama, fun, and a fair amount of controversy and life lessons. Unfortunately, based on an early partial cut I've seen, this doc falls short and takes the predictable path of conflating the Mr. McMahon character with my true self. That's not true, actually. I just want to make that very clear that that's not true. Vince, the title and the promos alone make that evident. A lie has been misrepresented or left out entirely in an effort to leave viewers intentionally confused. The producers use typical editing tricks without the context of footage and dated sound bites, etc., to distort the viewer's perception and support a deceptive narrative. In an attempt to further their misleading account, the producers use a lawsuit based on an affair I ended as evidence that I am, in fact, Mr. McMahon. I hope the viewer will keep an open mind and remember that there were two sides to every story. This is not true, actually. If you watch the documentary, they were quite impartial. The last half of the doc, which is like, I think that last hour is about the lawsuit because the interview got cut short because the lawsuit came out. They were not on anybody's side respectfully in this documentary. It was very, very unbiased, and it could have easily been just a monster towards him. But when you watch the doc, and a lot of people that were interviewed, they were resoundingly on Vince McMahon's side. They either were telling the truth about the things that were happening, especially with the steroid situation. These types of situations that were happening in WWE that they detailed, they didn't really paint him in a bad light until there was something that was bad that he did. Most of the stories that we heard when we were kids, like the steroid trial, the situation with the territories, that was conflated by rumors and innuendo. And when you watch the documentary, you really get the truth of what really happened. And they could have easily painted Mr. McMahon out to be a villain, especially in a steroid trial. They did not. They told the truth, which was that he didn't have anything to do with the steroids, and that the steroids were distributed by a doctor that was working with them, and he got lumped into the situation because the wrestlers had begun taking steroids, even though that was something that all of them were doing before they all started working for WWE. So I won't. I'm not going to say that this is that they conflated a lot of things, because that's not true. I think that he just felt attacked because he's guilty. That's my thing.
My whole thing for this, because I tried to watch the documentary, and I will say that they were biased. And a lot of people actually say Dark Side of the Ring kind of, tries to make everyone look like the bad guy when they're telling them like these stories that people did out on the road. But I think that they're being biased as well. Like they could really have gone in and, like you said, made Vince look like the ultimate, horrible piece of shit. I mean, we know he's a piece of shit, but they could have really made like up that ante on it. And like, I just don't like it that this old man is just trying to make himself feel like the fucking victim.
I mean, but we knew that was gonna happen, though.
I mean, yeah, I'm just saying that there's a truth here. I'll tell y'all what, like, to be honest, if you don't want to sit and watch the documentary, it's a long doc, but there's a full breakdown all over on my personal page you can go listen to. There's countless other podcasts who have sat and did like full length pods on this doc. And you can listen to us tell it how it is, or you can go watch it for yourself. But I will say this, I don't think that they did anything wrong in this documentary. They did it correctly. And a hit dog will holler is the best way to explain it. He feels attacked. It doesn't matter how they did the doc. He still would have felt attacked either way. Even if this situation with Janelle Grant never came out, he still would feel attacked. Because he's a narcissist. He can't help that.
I just need him to go. I need him to go somewhere where it's really, really hot.
Wow.
That shit's crazy.
Jesus Christ. We're going to move on to his more recent statement that he put up just a few days ago before what was last week, I think, when we decided to start recording this week. This is in regards to the SEC filing the security situation about the misappropriation of funds, the monies that he used to pay off these women. And I want to clarify something. This is not the end of the lawsuit with Janelle Grant. In fact, those are two separate things. And everybody seems to be conflating them. They seem to be mashing them together. They're two separate things. This particular filing is what gave Janelle Grant the opening to file her lawsuit and start to open this can of worms. That is a separate issue. This is about him misappropriating WWE funds. Okay? He used WWE money to pay off and pay the silence of these women he assaulted. Even though the assaults happened per these people, and of course, Vince McMahon was paying them to be quiet. Whether he believes it was an assault or consensual is irrelevant. The money was not supposed to be used that way. And he took the money from WWE to pay off these women. Now, there was an inquiry to that. And that's where the SEC comes in. What happened is they came to an agreement. Vince McMahon has to pay $400,000 in civil penalties, and then he has to pay $1.3 million back to the WWE. Okay, that's where the money's going. It's not going to Janelle. She hasn't gotten no verdict or nothing. This is all about the embezzlement, the misappropriation of the money from WWE. Now, he released this very vague statement, which is why a lot of people seem to be thinking, oh, okay, the lawsuit is over. The lawsuit hasn't even begun yet. They haven't even gone to court for that yet. Okay? This statement says the case is closed. Today ends nearly 3 years of investigation by 3 different government agencies. There has been a great deal of speculation about what exactly the government was investigating and what the outcome would be. As of today's resolution shows, much of that speculation was misguided and misleading. In the end, there was never anything more than minor accounting errors with regard to some personal payments that I made several years ago while I was CEO of WWE. I'm thrilled that I can now put this all behind me. When he says minor accounting errors, he is referring to him going into the WWE accounts, taking out money to make payments to these women that he allegedly assaulted. That is not an accounting error. That is you trying to cover your ass, and they stopped doing. And when they found out this was happening, you got caught. You can't change how it happened or what happened. It is what it is. The government came to a decision. You got to pay that money back. You're paying back WWE the money you stole, and then you're paying the civil penalties for stealing and misappropriating the money on the accounting, on the books. You were cooking the books essentially for the things that you took, and you're not supposed to do that. That's illegal, babe. So that's not a minor accounting error. It's you could go to jail for that shit, and you should have went to jail if we're being honest.
You know why he's not going to jail?
But yes,
I mean,
that was it.
I mean, fuck around, find out. So I mean, he's not gonna get any trouble.
Oh
I mean,
shit, Shotzi won.
oh,
You're
like,
lying.
oh, she won. I'm watching it right here.
Yeah, Fallon and JC and them interfered, and Fallon hit Stephanie's back with the title when she was hitting the ropes, and Shotzi rolled her up.
Yeah, not gonna face. He's not gonna face any legal repercussions. And honestly, all that money, while it seems like a lot to us, and it is a fucking lot to us, that's a fucking drop in the bucket for him. So I mean, he just loses more of his money. If this was anybody else, they would have fucking been arrested and thrown in jail before they were even, given a trial or anything like that. But whatever.
Oh shit, Kalani.
She
She
went on a
slapped the
tear as of
shit
late.
at her.
She
Oh,
should.
she about to turn heel, I think.
She mad.
I think that girl's gonna turn heel soon.
Fine by me.
I would love to see it.
All right. So Vinnie Mac, you're out the way. You still got a lot of work to do, babe. Let's go into something more positive. Let's go into the Raw debut for Netflix. And the last couple of shows they've had. They've been decent shows. I mean, the debut on Raw was clean. Never had any issues with the streaming. Everything went smoothly. No problems at all. I do think that the first show was it was a little ballooned, if that makes sense. It was blown out. They had a lot going on that I didn't feel like needed to be on there. I was cool with The Rock being there and everything, but
time.
They could have easily put the women on that show. They only had the one women's match, which was Rhea and Liv, and I feel like they should have kept Dakota and Lyra's match on the first Raw for Netflix because they had a lot going on. They gave Cena a tremendous amount of time, which fair enough. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have an issue with that. They gave The Rock a lot of time as well. And I'm just like, Jesus, like, and they had already had time set aside for Triple H to, usher us into the new Netflix era. which was a nice little moment. Okay. And then being in the Intuit Dome, it was really dope in there. They got the drone in there now. It's a big thing. Pat's back until August because August is when college football starts back up again and he'll be leaving. So Pat being there was so much fun. It was a good time. One match I feel like they could have left off that card was definitely Drew and Jay Uso.
Match was boring, man. I almost fell asleep through it.
Nothing came of it, and it was stupid for them to have him double back to Drew in the first place. I mean, for Drew to double back to Jay Uso in the first place, and now only for Jay Uso to move into going up against Gunther, which we'll get to in a second. And then Drew was worried about the Rumble. It's like you could have just, I don't know, started this shit off last week, the week before. WWE makes some questionable decisions when it comes to certain things, but overall, I'd say the very first show was a solid show. Nicole, what did you think about the first one?
It was good. Obviously, like, in my opinion, this show wasn't really for the regular fans. It's more so for the people who are gonna be watching this for the first time. Because that's why, like, Rock came out as, like, corporate Rock. And, like, didn't act like a fucking lunatic.
Right.
And you have John Cena hyping him up, and then you have Rhea Ripley.
Uh-oh, we lost her.
Uh-oh.
Nicole?
Oh shit, we lost her, y'all.
Fucking year still having technical issues. Love it.
We lost her in there. I don't know what happened there. I think her internet might have gone out.
Hello.
So I don't know. There she goes.
Could you hear me?
We can hear you now.
Okay, but I was just saying that basically night 2 was way better.
Yeah. The next night when it was for next Friday, that following Monday was a better show. And they cut it off 30 minutes early, which I was very surprised at. I was like, well, damn. We got about 30 minutes left and they was going off the air. And I was like, see, I knew they were going to do that. So it was what I was telling y'all on my live and I think we did it on podcast a couple months ago, is they will judge how they want the show to go by what storylines they want to do and what matches need the time. And some shows might be 2 hours, other shows might be 3 hours, some shows might not be that long. You never know. They are gonna waver it by how they feel at the moment, and Netflix is giving them full room to do that, which I low-key kind of like because there was nothing else to do. They had did everything they were supposed to do. The only thing I hated about the second Raw was the finish of the Women's Intercontinental Championship match.
All right, here we go.
I didn't like it. Before Rico and Nicole probably go off, but they might have got all their frustrations out on each other because they called each other.
They're on the deck last night. This one's yelling so loud. My cat was like pricking up, like, huh?
So Dakota and Lyra had their match.
That's so fucking stupid.
And they gave the belt to Lyra. Lyra is your new.
Oh my god.
She's your new Women's Intercontinental Champion. And I was not happy with that. And I can tell you straight off the bat, I don't have an issue with Lyra, but she was not the right choice. Dakota deserved that title. Dakota gave both her goddamn knees to the WWE. She has been injured more times than I can count just wrestling. And when she finally gets herself healthy, she's ready to go. She can move, she can go. Y'all still don't give her the prize. When she was fully healthy, wasn't getting injured at NXT, she should have been champion then. You skipped over her and gave it to Raquel. For what reason? I don't know. I will never understand that. And I still don't understand this. To me, Lyra doesn't have She has nothing going right now. There's no feud for her. She don't have no enemies built. They can create one with Sonya and PFC, but you already had it with Dakota. It was there. That was like the easiest thing you could have done. Not only that, but like I said, Dakota deserved it. And I'm not saying Lyra don't deserve anything, but Lyra has time. She has time. This was a bad move. I don't care what anyone says. I didn't like it. Now, Nicole and Rico, y'all can have at it.
Hey guys, Nicole, you want to go first?
No.
You go first. You're the guest.
That crinkle-nosed, bald-headed, Kratos-looking motherfucker had one motherfucking job.
My God, today.
One job.
Good Lord.
No, because this pisses me off. As a original Dakota Kai stan, I have been on this agenda for years.
He really has.
Y'all remember when y'all wasn't feeling her and I was like, no, I'm telling y'all, she got it. She got it. Y'all were like, nah. I have been on this agenda for years. Never gave her the NXT belt. Gave her a fuck-ass consolation prize and the NXT tag team belts, which I liked. I liked those belts. But then you give them to her and Raquel for an hour. And they
That's fucked up.
immediately, like literally, get introduced to all your champions, and then boom, actually, you're gonna go ahead and defend them against Ember and Shotzi later tonight, and then boom, they lost them. Then skip over her to give Raquel the belt, which Raquel did not deserve.
She didn't.
Ooh.
Not deserve.
She didn't.
Still doesn't deserve it.
She doesn't.
And then her and Raquel, then she challenges Raquel for the belt. Should have taken it off of Raquel, but no. You make Raquel, because you want to have these long ass fucking reigns for no reason. For prestigious shit's sake. Prestige sake, he wants to have these long reigns. Then, a year later, her and Raquel win the belts back, the tag belts, from Toxic Attraction. Just to drop them back to Toxic Attraction the following Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Then she has a title match against Mandy, loses, and then you release her. Then you bring her back. Then she's in Damage Control. The only reign she has that's worth mentioning is both of her tag title reigns with Io. That is it. But even in that, Bayley and Io were chosen over her. Now, granted, she did get injured. I'm not denying that. But it's very clear who you're choosing. And then Nicole did bring up a good point when we were ranting on FaceTime, that she was like, they must have promised Dakota something, right? So she's either going to get it next, she has something else in the chamber, or she might take the belt off of Rhea. With that in mind, if she gets the belt next, that was just pointless.
If she's taking that belt off of Rhea, I'll scream.
I don't think it's going to happen because she's not built up enough for Rhea.
She can be.
Can be, but I don't
She
think
can be. That's my point. There's plenty of time before Mania.
Yep.
There is plenty of time.
Mm-hmm.
And
what if they got her to win the Rumble?
Hell, she could. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She could win the Rumble.
If she wins the Rumble, I'll fucking scream.
That's a good redemption if she do. I would be okay with that.
I will say this, because since Rico moved in with me, he's been showing me a lot of Dakota's old stuff, and I've started, because before, y'all know, I didn't really pay attention to Dakota like that, but like me and him have been watching some stuff, and it just blows my mind that they put the title on Raquel, who still doesn't have a character. She's just relying on that back of hers.
And Cobra back.
And then me and him were watching we were rewatching that street fight with her and Tegan. And I looked at Rico and I'm like, they really put all their fucking eggs in Tegan Knox's basket when Dakota was right there. Because I remember when Dakota turned heel, Nicole and Rico about had a damn aneurysm. And Nicole knew it was coming because she said that's how she used to wear her hair in the Indies. I was like, damn, girl. Okay. I mean, The one thing I just wanted a good match because it's Lyra versus Dakota on paper. That could have been a really great fucking match. But I felt like it was rushed, like something went wrong, and they didn't like have enough time. Because then like they had the street match, which I didn't like that fight with Finn Balor and Damian Priest. It's like, can we end this already? You said you were supposed to already be done with Judgment Day at this point, Damian. But like then it went off, and I looked at my phone, and I'm like, it's only 10:30. Why can't we have had like 4 minutes on? Like, to me, I would have put that street card. I would have put Pence's match first, then Sheamus. No, I would have put Penta first. We'll get to him in a second. I would have put Penta first, second, Sheamus third, and then I would have made that woman's title the main event. And then I would have probably totally took off Sammy versus Miz because Miz got fucking owned by.
I mean, I didn't have a problem with none of the matches
That
on the
match was
card.
bad.
It was just a regular old match,
And hold on, I'm just gonna backtrack to Dakota Kai again really quick. It's just fucking stupid. No one was happy for Lyra Valkyria. Who do you know is happy for her? What is that boring? I was not. What a boring ass bitch. You boring ass bird feathered pigeon man, Hey Arnold built bitch. Like what?
it's not Lyra's fault.
It is Lyra's fault.
No.
Actually, it's both of their fault. It's Lyra's fault, WWE's fault, but I'm tired of it.
False fault.
Look, if y'all are so mad about the booking, will y'all now stop putting fucking Triple H on the goddamn pedestal that y'all seem to put him on?
I do not.
No pedestal.
I'm talking about y'all. I'm talking about the people who are listening or the people who like, oh my god, he's so good.
I was watching NXT before it went to TV, and it was on the fucking USAA network. I was watching it, because I started watching it in 2017.
Ooh.
So I got to see the product gradually get worse and focus all on these boring ass, long ass matches that they wanted to have 5 stars every fucking day, and slowly see all the booking decisions change, where we went to having the most expansive women's roster, and the next thing you know, we're only showcasing the same fucking people. So I got to see that. So I never put him on a pedestal, and it's because of this shit right here. Because the way he picks favorites, it is such an overkill tactic.
I've been telling y'all this.
Because it is so obvious. He loves Lyra. He loves Zoe. He obviously loves Rhea. And it's like, it's so obvious in the way he books it. Because why was Zoe the only one in PSC to advance when she's the most boring?
Sonya and Shayna are right there. They're right fucking there. And they want to pick the one that has no personality, like no character, no real gimmick you can get behind. I mean, like someone was saying, like Sami Zayn doesn't have a character. I'm like, dude, he is the aging punk rock guy that you used to know that would slam like 30 shots at night. And now he's like not born again, but he's like all vegan, drinks nothing but water, and listens to propaganda all day. Okay. Wow, I just called my fucking self out. But like, that's besides the point. But like everyone, I don't get it. I've been telling y'all that Hunter's played favorites. Oh no, he doesn't. Yes, the fuck he does. Sean does the same damn thing, and you can't tell me differently. And I know everybody.
I would disagree with that.
I think Sean plays favorites.
I don't think so.
He does play favorites. He's just better at hiding it.
Is he?
I don't think he plays at favorites.
I think he has favorites.
I do think he has favorites, but I don't think he's doing it to the extent of what Alexis is saying.
No,
I don't think so.
No, it's not as bad. They usually have something. At least they ain't just doing no bullshit.
Yeah, because Sean has his favorites, and it's very clear what he wants to set up, but he does a good job at delaying it. So he's like, okay, I have this person that I want to make champion. It's kind of obvious who he's positioning to kind of become the next top person, but he does a good job of being like, okay, this is going to be overkill, so let's pivot to here, here, and here, before we get there. So he's very good at road stops, essentially.
Excuse me.
Hunter will just take the feud, get there, and then we just have to drag it out for a long fucking time. And again, it's like he just shoehorns his favorites a lot. And again, it's so clear in this because there's no reason for Lyra to win that belt. Absolutely none. That girl was off of TV for the longest time before this tournament started. She only got brought back around the time that Dakota came back because she was gone from like September to like November, I'm pretty sure. Because I remember I didn't see her. I didn't see anything about her. I knew who was being showcased, even if I wasn't watching, because I highlights and clips and stuff, so I know what's going on. And she wasn't there. I don't remember her being showcased for like a good 2 to 3 months. And then she comes back, and again, there's no feuds for her. And also, and I said this earlier, isn't the Intercontinental Championship supposed to be the workhorse belt?
Yes, that's what they call it.
Who's out of between her and Dakota? Who's the workhorse? Because it's not Lyra.
On paper, it's Dakota.
Both of them can be considered a workhorse if given the opportunity. So I won't say that. I just don't think that Lyra was the right pick for her to be champion. Is Dakota a workhorse? She can be, sure, if she can stay healthy. Which is probably one of the reasons why they didn't pull the trigger on Dakota right now at this very moment.
And then she got a new theme song. I thought the new theme song was the indicator that she was going to win.
They tricked us all. She got the new theme song, the new gear.
Why did y'all think that? Because her theme was different?
And she got the new gear.
Usually a new theme means that like there's like a push being lined up for them. Because I remember Nicole saying this. I remember her saying this like back in like 2021, 2022. She said, pay attention to who gets repackaged around Rumble season. She said, look to see character who gets a new theme song, they get updated graphics. Look to see who they choose to repackage around Rumble season because that's the person who got next in the next year.
Well, your version of her getting next may not be what they're talking about in terms of her getting something. She might be being pushed for something else.
But it's still something else to do.
Just fair.
He has to go shopping where the rich people go shopping, where rich folks around rich people.
Which is
so let's talk about the stuff that was positive about it. We're going to talk about Penna. Penna was supposed to face off against Chad Gable yesterday, and he did. He had a wonderful match yesterday. It was really good. He looked great. He came out there and he was just living his best life. His daughter and his wife, they were all sitting front row. His daughter was in tears the whole time she was there.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, this little baby is just crying her eyes out. But it was tears of happiness, obviously. Her dad is one of the greatest luchadors of all time. And he's been in every company you could think of. And now he finally gets to come to the WWE. It's got to be a bucket list moment for him. But of course, the world was watching at that point. So he was able to showcase and show what he could do. His family was able to see it. And they gave him time after his match to speak with Jackie Redmond, which I thought was very, very cool because they could have did that in the back, but they did it out in the crowd right after his match. So kudos to them for letting Penna have his moment. Not everybody gets to have those types of moments.
Speaking of people who got up next, Jackie Redmond. Mark my words.
She's good. She's a good wrestler.
So I mark my words.
So what y'all think about Penna?
Dude, okay. I'm going to go first. Seeing Penta on WWE was like some kind of weird dream because I never thought it was going to happen. Like, he is such a cool guy. He's one of my favorites because he does his job. He goes home. You don't hear him getting involved with shit. You know, right off the bat, he's already a fave. But, like, he has worked his ass off to get where he is, and he deserves, and y'all know I don't say this, he deserves to be. because he's been everywhere. He's done everything.
You say he
mean,
deserves to be what? Because it cut out when you said it.
he deserves to be there.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, I don't say that about everybody who comes through that WWE. So like, I'm just happy he was there. The fucking Mexican destroyer, that was so clean. Like no one else is gonna be able to do that. Chad Gable did great in that match. I was happy for Chad. And like honestly, I really hope WWE knows what the hell they're doing with Penta and not gonna be like, oh look who we signed, and then he doesn't get anything like they do with a lot of the fucking luchadors. I hate to say that's not Rey Mysterio. So
This whole rollout is too different.
Yep.
It was too different.
Pena had a lot of time.
They got some shit in the chamber.
See, I'm honest. I
They got
think
some
that he's
shit in
gonna
the
be
chamber.
champion. Yeah, like he's gonna be champion within the next year or two. He's gonna be champ for sure.
They got some shit cooking.
Mm-hmm.
time of
Because
this,
not only that, and I can't believe I'm saying this, he listened to Busted Open and they were just talking about there is nothing anyone could do to get someone to have that type of moment besides WWE. As there's no one
Well,
can do it. You
they're
think
not
no one
lying.
can make stars out them. And they said why, obviously, but they're not toys. Like you
No.
could make people fucking stars. That video is at 1 million views.
It's
yep.
only been a day.
It wasn't even in a day when it got
At
to 1 million views.
eight
I'm
fifty
sure
five.
all the views, a lot of them views came from San Jose. Just everybody in California and everybody in Mexico.
That's a big thing. I mean, 8:55 p.m. on January 14th, 2025. Penta versus Chad Gable is at 1 million views. Like that's insane for a video to get that many views in less than 24 hours.
I mean, it's Pena, so
On a debut,
am
Yeah.
I surprised? No.
But you
No,
know what
I'm
I
not
think the
surprised.
thing about this is that like we've had people in our group chats ask who've never seen Penta, and just people in general, they're like, okay, I like him. Where can I see more of him? And we're like Lucha Underground, Impact, AAA, Japan, anywhere.
AEW.
You know, when Phoenix shows up, they're gonna be a whole fucking problem.
Which that was the only thing that I felt like was bittersweet was that Phoenix didn't get to experience it with him. And I hate that for him. And I hope that when he does debut, that he gets to have maybe not something that's massive, but something good enough and close enough that he gets to have a similar feeling because he deserved it and it kind of got snatched away from him. So
Just because Tony Khan's a petty bitch, and I have never seen anywhere where someone's like, "Oh, you have to stay because of when you were injured." Still not finding anything about people being forced to do that.
Oh, not DIY is here.
oh
There-
hell no.
Not again.
Anyways. Shout out to Pena and WWE for having a very good debut. All in all, Monday Night Raw this past Monday was a good show, except for the situation with Lyra and Dakota. I hope that there is something down the pike for Dakota, whether she gets to win the Royal Rumble or she gets moved over to SmackDown and gets the US title, or she gets the IC championship. Whatever they're setting her up for, I hope that it is worth this loss to lead to the bigger one. It needs to be bigger if you're going to do it this way. Let's pivot from Monday Night Raw and let's talk about Corey Graves. So first, you need to know what he said so you can understand the context of the situation, and then we'll get into how people feel about it or what they feel about it. Corey said on Twitter, and this was yesterday. He said, "Imagine chasing your dream, then being told," and he put "told" in all caps, not deciding that you're no longer physically able to pursue your dream. Then you did dedicate your life to something dream adjacent and being pretty fucking awesome at it. You were okay, babe. You were okay as a commentator. Let's just put that out there. And then when it's time to enjoy the fruits of your labor, being told you're not famous enough for your own job. Just in case you've wondered where I've been.
We weren't wondering, really.
We don't care.
Thank God somebody said it. Now, at the time, this tweet had 457 views. I'm sure that has doubled by now with everything that had been said. He went on to tweet out later on that night, "I've got a lot to say." And that was the next night. The next afternoon, he tweeted this: "I've got a lot to say. Don't miss NXT tonight on the CW tonight." But that didn't, that didn't happen. He said he wanted to, talk, but WWE pulled him from commentary tonight. According to Wrestle Talk, and this is via Wrestle Talk and PW Insider, Corey Graves will not be appearing on tonight's episode of WWE NXT following his tweet last night. Graves had tweeted that he had a lot to say on tonight's show, but it seems he will not be on the show at all. Now, y'all watching NXT, is he there?
Nope.
It's Vic and Booker again.
So here's the deal. I thought that this was a work after he tweeted out that he had a lot to say. Tune into WWE NXT, because I'm like, why would you encourage people to hear something that you have to say when you doing commentary? Nobody's gonna be, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, something doesn't sound right. So I just was like, okay, well, maybe he's being cleared to go back to work and do what he really wants to do. Apparently that wasn't the case. So this is a case of when you use your social media improperly and you work for a corporation and they find what you put out there, especially a company like WWE who actively uses social media in their business. This is a point where you need to have a fucking burner account.
What is he complaining about? Like, that's what I just want to fucking know. Because, like, look, I'm sorry that you got concussed and it's not safe for you to do it, okay? First off, let me just say that's the only nice thing one of the nice things I'll say about Corey.
Wait, before you get into it, what is the issue with him physically that he cannot wrestle?
Concussions.
It's concussion stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
In a match, it was kind of what happened with Enzo. He just took like a lariat wrong, or he fell wrong or something like that. And
so it's like with Daniel Bryan, where Daniel Bryan was suffering from concussions heavily and they were like, we don't want to take the risk.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, fine.
Captain Concussion. I really should. I just want to know what his fucking problem is, because for like what? So I got back into wrestling back in 2016. Yeah. And from there till now, Corey has either been on Raw or he's been on SmackDown. He's called PLEs. He's called special events. You know, what are you complaining about? And if it's because you're going back to NXT, a lot of people have to go back to NXT, which is fine. Because honestly, if you've been there for almost 10 plus years or more, and you let some guy from ESPN who's never even talked about pro wrestling before come in and do a better job than you, that's on you, homie.
I think the issue with Corey is he feels slighted. And I don't know why, because in about 5 months, he's going to be back at the commentary table because Pat's not going to be there.
I don't know what his fucking problem is. It's just
I'm like, just wait. Just like sit in NXT. NXT is stationary for like 70% of the time. You do not have to go anywhere for majority of their shows, except for a PLE and the occasional TV special or show that they might do around the country. Okay. Your ass literally has one of the most cush positions over there in NXT. And you could just sit and vibe off of Booker T and Vic for a little while. It is not going to kill you. Like, I was like, I don't understand. I don't
You'd be
understand
at
why.
home. You'd be at home more often. Like, what the fuck?
That's
Like
what
you
I'm
just had a
saying.
baby.
him and Carmelo.
Exactly. I'm just saying, like, why are you taking NXT like it's a demotion? I don't understand that.
Like, I just don't like Corey, because one thing I always stay on Corey's neck for is that because they try to make him to be like the next Lawler, because he was always kind of like saying some creepy ass shit about women and stuff like that. But the shit that always got to me, and at one point, because I'm gonna say this for my husband, Daryl hates him. He fucking cannot stand Corey Graves. And I forgot what pay-per-view it was. Is when we were living in the apartment. So this was like 2017, 2018. My husband got so pissed off with Corey Graves yelling over Michael Cole, screaming over Michael Cole, like cutting him in. He switched it to the Russian language announcers.
That's wild.
Because he had enough of Corey's shit for the night. Like, he was so done with him. And then it's like,
I want to switch over to Russian.
Right. How do you do that?
Like, I don't need anybody to tell me what the fuck's going on.
I can watch it.
It was a WWE network at the time when we were spoiled. So, we could do that. And then, like, from there, we jumped to Japanese announcers because we wanted to hear Funaki. But, like, and then it's like,
I'm so upset by this.
What happened?
I could have been watching it in a different language.
You didn't know the WWE network, you could watch it in like different languages?
No.
Oh
none of us knew that.
Well,
why didn't you say anything?
She's literally crying.
this.
That's fucking hilarious.
In my defense, we were also
asshole.
Okay, this just in. Nicole called me an asshole because I got drunk and found out how to change the form.
That's funny. I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
She cracked
I could have been listening to Funaki. You know how lit that would have made me?
Right.
I'd have been so lit. I would have switched over to Italian and I would have pretended I knew every single thing they were saying.
Facts.
I would have made up my own storylines. I am so upset right now.
Better, you can't do it anymore.
Every language would be a different storyline.
Yeah,
I'll be like, I was like, I'm gonna win an Oscar from this.
I cannot.
Change the language settings on Netflix.
I think you can change the English settings.
It's not, but it's probably not as good. Like, what? This is so crazy.
Anyway, she's crashing out. I'm sorry, Nicole. But it's like the one thing that I will always be on Corey's neck for is that no matter if Mercedes was a face or a heel, he always had to slay some borderline slick shit to the point where I was like, Corey, I know you didn't just say that coming out of your mouth. Yeah, that's some questionable shit coming from you, sir. I don't know what his problem is. It's like he was basically posed to be the fucking poster boy to take over after Michael Cole, God forbid.
And he didn't get the job done.
Let Wade Barrett come in. You let Pat McAfee come in and take over. Who's the other guy? Joe from ESPN.
Tessitore is going to be the next voice of WWE.
I like him.
The problem is Corey had a chance. Okay? They put Corey in charge of SmackDown commentary. He was lead commentator for like a month or two when they were on Fox. He was lead commentator over there. And he did terrible. He was
not
horrible.
good.
He was horrible. So they switched him. They switched Wade and put him with Michael. Put Michael over there on SmackDown and sent Corey back to Raw and let Joe be the lead commentator because he couldn't do it. Now, you can say it was dream adjacent all you want to, but when it is something that you really enjoy doing and you have a good time and you think you're good at it, then you will do everything in your power to make sure you excel at all aspects of it, not just being the color commentary. Because I can tell you right now, Jesse the Body Ventura ain't did commentary in almost 30 plus years, but when his ass came back for Saturday Night Main Event, he was killing it.
Thank you.
He wasn't even on full commentary the whole time. He was only out there for one match, and he was in there. He was in there before they even had the show with Joe Tessitore, and he was killing it. If they told him to come back today, he could run both of them shows by himself. But you can't say that. So for you to be all in your feelings because you felt like you got pushed out because Pat's more popular, I'm gonna tell you why Pat got to be on commentary and your ass ain't on there. Because number one, Michael Cole vibe with Pat on a different level.
You can tell that man's how
you and Michael have a rapport, and that's cool. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with your commentary. As a color commentary, you're fine. You do what you're supposed to do. You root for the heels, and sometimes you are a little impartial when you need to be. Cool. Don't have a problem with that. The problem is, however, you don't know how to be on the other side. Pat does both. Pat don't have no script. He ain't got no bullshit going on. Pat gives you commentary from our perspective as a fan. And they're on Netflix. They doing the best they can to bring the most eyes to the product. And if you are a part of the team, you are part of the business, then you of all people should fucking know that. You should know that. There shouldn't be no qualms because in about 5 months, your bald-headed ass would have been back on commentary with Michael because Pat wouldn't be able to do
Lash and Jakara won.
Well, good for them.
Okay.
Your ass wouldn't be able to do it. So, like, I don't get why you just couldn't just bide your time. Now, any other time, you ain't never complained. You ain't never said nothing. Now, all of a sudden, you want to get on the internet and bitch and woe is me. But you got your cold card checked because they pulled your ass from commentary. That way, you ain't got to worry about no dreams adjacent. Them dreams might be dead if you keep talking the way you've been talking on the internet.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like, don't be mad that the only time you've been actually entertaining is when it involves your wife.
Oh, now see you petty.
Yeah. I mean, am I wrong though?
I will say Corey does his job. Corey is a color commentator. He's supposed to annoy us. He's supposed to root for the bad guy. He's supposed to get under our skin. I will give him that he does do that. Do I think he's the best at it? No. There are other people who are better than him on commentary. Quite frankly, Wade Barrett is a better commentator if I'm being fair. Corey likes to pretend that he's animated and amped up and stuff and all that other kind of shit. But he obviously is very threatened by Pat McAfee. He doesn't like his presence being there.
That's my thing. That's my thing when it comes to, like, I'm not going to call Pat an outsider anymore because he's done the due diligence. But, like, if you're going to let somebody from ESPN, who's probably a wrestling fan, but, like, never called it or anything like that, if you're going to let this guy and easily run roughshod over you, over something you've been trying to build up for like 10 years plus, that sounds like a you problem. What is it with these men throwing hissy fits? Is it their time of the fucking month again?
Oh, child.
I just want
What
to
is
know.
going on?
It's just been real up.
Solar cycles have like
I think they would just be a lot more happier if they just smiled more often.
Him also calling boxing matches.
But see, that's the thing, AJ. This is what I'm saying. If you are the one who is in the business, you've
That
wrestled
parking lot
before.
is so ghetto.
If they fight in the park, somebody got attacked in the parking lot again.
And,
Who did?
man, I ain't ever going in the NXT parking lot. No, man.
Wait, what happened? You cut out. Who got attacked?
Rich Holland and Woods and Tony D'Angelo are fighting
Oh,
in
they're
the parking
fighting.
lot.
Okay, whatever. I don't like Rich Holland last. No way. That's what I'm saying to you, babe. Like you have to look at it from the outside looking in. Joe Tessitore it's easier for him to acclimate to this style of commentary. He will learn move sets and everything else as the move names as the show progresses. But more likely, Joe studied because he was taught to do so. Do you understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Corey was thrusted into this. And then he just was like, I learned it on the fly and I became good at it. No, you became good enough. And there's a difference. You're just good enough to do what needs to be done. And now you're mad because somebody like Pat comes in, and because Pat has such an over-the-top personality, he's so animated, he's big and boisterous, you can't match that energy because you're not him. You feel pushed out. You feel slighted by that. When in all actuality, you should be embracing it because Pat doesn't do what you do. He can't do what you do. And that's the problem. You're insecure and you're comparing your abilities with Pat's popularity, and it's incomparable. You can't do that. What you should be doing is making your case as to why you are somebody who needs to be out there at the table rather than worried about what Pat McAfee is doing, because all you're doing is peeping your whole card to everybody. Well, I'm better than Pat McAfee. I'm obviously better than this. I've been at this game for 10 plus years. I'm better than him. He comes in only because he's popular. Pat's a fan of wrestling just like the rest of us. And like I told you, his style of commentary is just like a fan watching the show. The wrestlers interact with him, and it's funny. That clip of Dom and him going back and forth and him calling Dom a bitch, it's funny. I don't care what anybody says. It's funny shit. He be on commentary
and then he just flies off the handle.
He just doing it off the cuff, and Triple H is just like, let him go. Whatever he wants to do, as long as he ain't gonna get us no fines, let him go. And he does that. He don't know nothing about the show when they come in. He literally is off the cuff right when he sees it. It's a better reaction because it's just like how the rest of us would be reacting. It's the same way I do commentary.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, if I was hired for WWE, I would have your job.
Okay.
I would have your job. I would have your job. Because I'm not like Renee. I'm not going to come in and not learn the ropes and figure out how to do this. Because if I'm going to be in here, you're going to thrust me in a position where I'm the first woman to sit at the table. Oh, I'm going to be better than everybody sitting there next to me. Everybody. And if I can't catch it for that, then I'm going to do it my own way. There's no way you're about to outwork me or outshine me. There's no way at all. Because you're not me. You can never do what I do. You do you, and I do me. That's it. Once you got that down, there's nobody who can tell you what you can or can't do. So you clearly are not believing in yourself. And for that, I can't fuck with you.
You know what it is? Ever since Carmella got that foot injury, she probably ain't been pegging him the way that he wants to be, so he's just mad.
Rico, please.
Jesus Christ on the cross.
I mean, but let's be real. Ever since she had that drop foot and she got that nerve damage,
I don't have nothing to do with that.
Emotion and booty, you know.
Nope.
Well, then you know what? There's a wonderful invention called the internet that he can go in and find something else he can shove up his ass and massage his sphincter. Okay.
Nope. Nope, we ain't going there.
Mm-mm.
We're not. We're not. We're not. We're not doing
like
that.
right there just proves that all four of us were better at doing commentary than Corey Graves.
Release your rhythm.
Oh, hell.
I mean, he's not. I won't say that he's an absolute shit commentator. I don't believe that. I think he's good at what he does, which is he knows how to be a color commentator to a certain extent. He knows how to make himself stand out for his specific reasons. And other than that, he's there. He's not particularly interesting to me. A lot of people like Corey, and they resonate with Corey. I think when he does the other stuff outside of commentary, like his TV show that he used to have, what was it, Superstar Inc. that they used to do? When he had the podcast, I like those formats better for Corey because it let Corey be Corey. When you're at commentary, that's a different ball game. I'm not exactly a Booker T fan when it comes to his commentary, but he does his job. Is he the best at doing commentary? No, not necessarily. But he does good enough for Booker T. And that's the same way I feel about Corey. I won't say that he's like down in the dump shit. Like he's terrible. You know, he's not terrible. He's just Corey. It's the best way to explain it. I don't know how to explain it, but I won't say that he's terrible because there are other people who are on commentary who are worse than he was.
True. Renee is coming to mind real quick. That's the thing. Also, I always felt like they were trying to make him the next Jerry Lawler.
I don't know why they wanted to so bad.
I mean, all the shit he would say about Mandy.
Yeah. And
I mean, I also remember that they do have earpieces now, and they are telling them what to say. And Vince was in Gorilla, so let's just keep that in mind.
He's been doing that his whole time working there. Vince has been doing that.
Well, now that he doesn't have anyone, and it's the funny thing is like people are like, "Look, we do so much better because now there's no one screaming in our ear constantly." But like, I think that's the thing is because someone's not there holding his hand, telling him what to say. That's why he's floundering, and that's why he's being.
Damn, they got Kalani in a handicap match.
Oh shit!
She going to
against who?
And her titties.
Cora and her titties.
This nigga said they're in a handicap match with Cora and her titties.
Your man.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Don't y'all love me?
Sometimes.
Nicole, do you got anything to say about Corey before we move on?
I think she's gobsmacked of what we just said.
I don't think so. It's just it takes a lot to take Nicole out, honestly.
Apparently, I crashed her out because she didn't know she could change the language on the old WWE network. Apparently,
fair enough. Fair enough.
That for like weeks now.
Fair enough. I didn't know you could do that either. Honestly,
Oh my god,
didn't know that. I don't know. Maybe her Wi-Fi cut out.
she'll be back.
Yeah. I don't know. A lot of people felt bad for him, and I'm be honest with you, I don't.
I don't give a fuck.
And I'm gonna
Oh my
be.
gosh.
There she go. I didn't feel bad for him, but like I understand how he feels pushed out, but I'm not like, oh, it's gonna be okay. I'm not saddened by it.
I don't feel bad for him. Literally,
like, you'll
this
get the
just
job
happened
back
with
on
Vic
Monday. Like you're
Joseph.
gonna get it back. Like you're not going anywhere. You know that Pat's leaving in August, probably before August. He's gonna leave, and you'll be back on Raw again.
Or use it as fucking vacation time, dummy.
That's what I'm saying.
I do that.
I would have took my ass home. I said, fuck yeah. See you in August.
don't understand.
He said, "Do you
don't.
want to?" I was like, "No, no, no, no. I'll go home. I'll save you guys. I don't
I'll
want to
be.
cost y'all no extra money."
You need a third commentator on one of the bigger shows. You call me. I don't mind being there for a PLE, but let Pat have his time. He's only going to be here for a couple months anyway. That's how I would have took it.
Since like they've let Corey, like the earpieces aren't there anymore, and Vince isn't telling them what to say. Corey is such a fucking nerd. Like, get over yourself. Like, you're grown now. The bullies are gone. You don't have to be the old wrestling nerd. Like, you can be more than this. There are other things.
Like what?
I don't know. You have a life. Like, do something with that. Like, you have shit. You got money. You got kids. Like,
Also, I'm a little indifferent to the first message he put out when he said that he was told that he couldn't wrestle anymore. A concussion is a very serious thing. And if you're subject to getting them more often than not, WWE has every right to pull you from wrestling because they keep seeing the same patterns with you over and over and over again. If they did it, they would be liable. And y'all would be saying that they are being irresponsible with the wrestlers and not taking their health into consideration. Now, because they're trying to correct that behavior, you're in your feelings. You're like, because I was told I didn't make that decision myself. Well, if you had kept wrestling and getting concussions, you wouldn't be able to make any decision for yourself. Things could get really bleak really, really fast. And they were trying to protect you. So I don't know if I like that rhetoric. I know it probably wasn't meant to sound that way, and I might be taking it out of context. And for that, if I am, then I apologize for that. But the way that it came across to me, it just made it seem like you couldn't make any decisions, and you're just like, it was taken from me. Like, no, accidents happen, bro. It wasn't like you were intentionally taken out like that. And WWE had to make a decision for your health and for their sake too.
I hate that because fucking Daniel Bryan, even though, whatever, Daniel Bryan, Edge, Enzo got really bad concussed with that move when he Alexa. Who else? Rhea got on concussion protocol, and we almost didn't see her ass for a year and a half because they were like, "Stay your ass home."
When she touched her knee to her nose that one time.
Yeah, she knocked herself silly. That's why Becky couldn't be in Survivor Series, because when Nia punched her that year and she had that bloody nose, she was put under concussion protocol, and we didn't see.
No, you mean Nia's birthday present to Nicole.
That's true. Yes, Nia's birthday present to Nicole.
Y'all ain't shit.
But she was like on concussion protocol till like Royal Rumble, because we didn't see her ass back till then.
She won the Rumble.
And then that's the Rumble she won.
I'm just saying that they're just trying to protect you. I don't think that they're just like being cruel and keeping you from wrestling. They're trying to protect you, and they're also protecting their interests. And they gave you, if they really didn't give a shit about him, they wouldn't have given him an opportunity to do commentary.
Just think about this and we can move on. Edge was one of the biggest superstars they had going when everybody else left, right? Edge got hurt with his neck while during his run. And they were like, dude, we can't, what was it? The double neck surgery deal that they had to do to him or something?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, look, we're sorry. We can't take this chance. And Edge was one of their biggest fucking superstars at the time. I remember seeing him coming in the ring crying, and I'm like, this is a work, right?
Nope.
Right? Why is Edge crying? Like, I remember seeing that on SmackDown. I was like, what the fuck is this? So don't sit there and be like, oh, blah, 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 blah. Oh. They could have let your ass win, but apparently they like something about you to put you behind commentary, where a lot of other people from your class have came and went, come back and left again.
It just seemed like it was something that you should have talked to your wife about and, vented to your wife instead of putting it out on social media, because a lot of people get fired for social media posts, honestly. And it's not that they were, attacking you. Like I said, like I probably wouldn't feel any type of way if I got mushed out from a show, especially if it was for Pat. I'd be like, oh, well, Pat's coming back. Okay, well, in like 4 months, 5 months, what are we gonna do with the show? Are we gonna put me back on commentary? That would have been my next question, because I know his ass isn't gonna be able to stay full time. I just know
Right.
it. So I would just be like, okay, so in like Mania season's done and we're heading into SummerSlam. So what are we talking about? Me going back to commentary? Like what? Like we talking like June, July? You know? And I would need a timetable. Then I was like, okay, well, since I'm not going to be on TV, can I take this time off? And you can keep your 2-man teams on each show. And like Nicole said, you take your vacation and you could be at home with your wife and really enjoying being with your wife and your son. I'm not saying that you don't have a right to be mad. You can be mad. I'm just saying there was a right way and a wrong way to do that. And I think he went about it the wrong way. That's all.
Shit don't stink.
That's the problem.
Nicole, you want to get the last word or are you good?
I'm good.
All right. So the last couple of things we're going to cover is Saturday Night Main Event and NXT's new era. So let's start with Saturday Night Main Event. We had one back in December. It was really decent. It went by pretty quickly for a wrestling TV show. There were no promos cut on this show. It was all matches. And the match card was pretty decent. Drew went up against Sammy. Liv went up against Io. We had Kevin go up against Cody, which was probably the most daunting match of the night, was Kevin and Cody. And there was another match, but I can't remember. There's a couple other matches. Oh, Chelsea's match with Michin. She ended up winning the US Championship. So we had a lot going on. And then they decided to set another Saturday Night Main Event because they promised TV specials for NBC Universal. They promised them TV specials and they are going to get them. So this next week is going to be Saturday Night Main Event, January 25th. And the first match announced for Saturday Night Main Event is going to be Jey Uso versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. Dun, dun, dun.
Say this, Nicole, I know that's your guy and you're probably still mad at me for the language setting things, but I'm bored. I'm bored with him.
Another match that has been set for Saturday Night Main Event is Braun Breaker versus Sheamus for the Intercontinental Championship.
He better win that damn time.
I'm gonna be honest, I would love for both of them to drop their titles at Saturday Night Main Event just to cause the chaos it would cause. People would legit be throwing chairs, and I would love every minute of it.
I mean, think about this. We didn't think Rhea Ripley was going to win back that women's title on the first SmackDown or not SmackDown, but Raw on Netflix, and she sure as shit did. And I was like,
Oh, I knew she was winning it back.
I thought she'd be winning it back at Mania. I didn't think she'd be winning it back already. I was like, oh, okay.
Nope. As soon as they started talking about ending feuds, I knew she was getting it back. I knew she was getting it back. They're planning something else, and they want Rhea to drop it to somebody else.
Yeah.
So, because and no shade to Liv, she did a good job as a heel champion, but she didn't have anything outside of Rhea, and I don't think Liv would have had any good chemistry outside of Rhea with anybody else, not anybody major, other than Becky coming back, which in the hindsight, Becky would have owed her some get back, but she also owed Rhea some get back. Rhea beat her at WrestleMania, so anything is possible. For now, Saturday Night Main Event has 2 matches scheduled. Don't know what else they're going to add. Hopefully it's women's matches because you definitely need one. They may put Tiffany Stratton on that card. You never know. But what do y'all think about Saturday Night Main Event?
I'm glad they're doing it. It's very old school wrestling vibe to it. I wish they had oh god, what's the guy's name who plays Al Bundy? He was on Modern Family.
What's his name? Ed? It's Ed O'Neill.
You know,
Mhm.
so
Yeah,
for
he
the
was with My Wife and Children. Not my was it My Wife and Kids? What
Married
was
with
that
Children.
show?
with children, yeah, Al Bundy. Um, so like he did a commercial for like the first ever Saturday Night Main Event. Oh, well, that was on Fox, but now I don't know if he's on NBC. They're just like, can we get him to do another commercial like he did for the first one? And that would just really be like old school right there. I like that they're doing TV specials like this again because it kind of breaks up the monotony of like, oh, I can't watch like one this week, but you know what? I'll be home Saturday and I got nothing to watch some wrestling. Why the fuck not?
Sure. Nicole, what do you think?
Um, I mean, Saturday Night Main Event. It is what it is. It's just basically it's a glorified house show. Um, but I think they might try to make this one bigger than what it normally is. So obviously we have who's match? Jay and Gunther, which I feel like Jay could low key get it.
Yeah.
I could see them doing like a return like a Charlotte or an Alexa Bliss.
Yeah,
I
I
could see
agree.
them or like then throwing like a Penta match in there, like have him main event or something crazy. Like
Yeah, you're right.
I feel it in my spirit as they're gonna do something funky.
Yeah.
Let's get my shit off.
All right. So Saturday Night Main Event's a good show. It usually is very wrestling forward, so a lot of people that prefer that style of wrestling shows would enjoy Saturday Night Main Event. I saw a lot of complaints about the commercials and the commercial time, but honestly, to me, it wasn't that many commercials. They didn't really cut in the middle of matches as much as they do on the regular shows. So I think they did a good job with the televised, and you can also watch it over on Peacock. It's supposed to be fewer commercials on Peacock than it is on NBC. So just take that into consideration when you're watching Saturday Night Main Event. With all that being said, NXT is in a new era. You heard the girls and Rico talking about NXT as we were recording this, and NXT is in a new era. They have two brand new champions. Obafemi is your NXT Men's Champion, and currently Julia is your newly crowned Women's Champion. Now, as far as the North American titles are concerned, Tony D'Angelo still has his, and unfortunately for the rest of the world, Fallon still has her title. The tag team titles were supposed to be up for grabs today.
That's just
Against
happening right
what happened?
up right now.
Okay, so OTM is supposed to face off against Fraxium today,
Yeah,
and Fraxium still
Fraxium
has.
is winning.
Okay, well, love that. Oh, you're never gonna drop those titles. Um, Fraxium is the current champions in the tag team division, and then you still have the women's tag team titles that are floating between all three shows, and currently Lash and Jakara have just earned another shot at the women's tag team titles, which they may ultimately get. And to be honest, they do deserve them, so I wouldn't be mad at that. So NXT is moving into a new space, all right, and we love that for them because we got new people on the horizon, new champions, new challengers are coming in. It's a fun time. Also, there's going to be another television show for the up and coming talent called NXT Evolve. Okay, and that's going to be the replacement for Level Up, and they're going to have those people who need to sharpen their irons, wrestle on Evolve, and then once they're done with Evolve, they will incorporate them into regular old NXT. As So what do y'all think about the beginning of this new era of NXT? Do you like it? Do you hate it? How are you feeling?
Just I don't really care much for Fallon, so at least right now, or Mandy 2.0 as I like to call her, because that girl's starting to look like her more and more each day.
That's funny.
But
We do miss.
we miss Teresa. No, I don't miss Teresa.
Oh,
She can.
now
She
he
can
tricked you into saying it.
Fuck you.
He tricked you into saying it. That's funny.
Hit him in the dick with a pillow. Anyway,
Oh.
that's what we were talking about. Shit, I'm tired. Leave me alone. My kid's sick.
Well, we talking about NXT and the new era and how you feel about it. It's at the beginning. You're on the cusp of it. So, how do you feel about where it's starting and where it could possibly be?
Wait,
going?
fact, her name's Teresa too.
Is it really?
Yeah. This is creepy. I like NXT for a while. I always thought NXT was the better brand to watch because there would be weeks I didn't watch and I didn't watch Raw or SmackDown. I would just watch solely NXT, and I was just like, I get it. It's going through growing pains right now because they're trying to figure out what the fuck they want to do. I'm happy that Obafemi is the champ. What time? Wait, so Julia is the new champion?
Yeah.
Julia is champion.
Fallon had it.
No, Fallon has the North American.
Fallon has the North American championship for the women. Julia has the NXT women's title. She is the top girl. She took Roxanne's belt.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just don't like Roxanne. Just like throw her some fruit snacks so she can stop whining. But
I don't like that. Roxanne's a very
no, she's a good wrestler. But when she gets on the mic, she's always like, "This is my title, you guys." Like, oh my god, like I am so good, and no one's gonna take it from me. Because it's like, bitch, here's some fruit snacks. Shut the fuck up. Like, stop whining.
crazy.
That's always been my issue with her. But I mean, NXT I think is going through some growing pains right now. Scott D'Amore, who used to be at TNA Impact, is coming over, so I think he's going to get a lot of shit, shaped up. And if Rico's rumors are true, there's going to be a lot of massive call-ups after Mania. So
okay, so I think NXT is already set in what it wants to be. I don't think it's going any growing pains. I think that it already did that. It already did that prior to everybody. That shift in the change in the logo and changing everything from the look. That to me was a part of its growing pains and shedding that the attachment from Vince and Bruce Pritchard and going back to the bare bones of it, and then Shawn Michaels kind of elevating what it was to something new. I think NXT is in a good spot. I think a lot of people are missing out on some talented people because they are so hell bent on keeping it, oh, we have black and gold. Like black and gold was the greatest. It really wasn't. And I need you guys to let some shit go. Some of you are stuck in circa 2002. From 2002 to like 2009, and I need you to come out of that bubble. There is a whole new field of wrestlers in NXT. There are people there who are really good characters. People like Jada Parker, Lash Legend, Jakara. You have Obafemi. You've got Tony D'Angelo. You've got Stax. You got all these people down in there with Wesley teaming up with Tyreek and Tyson. You have Fraxium. They may get on your nerves, but they're an excellent tag team. Wonderful tag team, amazing matches. You got budding tag teams like OTM and Hank and Tank. You still have Gallus down there, a veteran tag team. Love them or hate them, they're good at what they do. You have so much going on. The new guys like Javon and Ethan Page are there, and they're giving you. They have so much time, and they're doing so many good things. and you're missing it because you're stuck in your little wheelhouse of black and gold this and black and gold that. It's a new era, and you need to move into that. And if you can watch WWE currently, then you can watch NXT currently. Everybody goes through ebbs and tides. It's the nature of the beast. Did Nicole fall asleep?
I don't know. Someone snores really bad though.
I always put her to sleep every time we do this. I swear to God. I
Nicole,
put everybody to sleep. Nobody stays awake. I do it all the time.
I'm an insomnia.
It hurts my feelings. I tell Don this all the time because he always comes in and goes right to sleep.
Oh, that's Don's fault because he works, early schedule, so his ass is used to going to bed early.
I don't know. Nicole be tired though. She be dog tired.
I mean, I don't have a problem with NXT. I mean, like you said, everyone goes through changes, ups and downs, all that shit. Just keep an open mind. But I mean, I can watch NXT and be entertained. I mean, not like some of the people who are champions, but whatever. I can learn to deal with it. So,
facts. Rico, you're here. What do you think about NXT?
Oh,
he wants that bird bitch to go back there right now.
yeah.
She's not going back down. Sorry, she's not going. You gotta let it go, babe.
Hi, NXT. Again, I like NXT a lot more. I'm glad that they're not fully getting rid of Level Up and they're just rebranding it to Evolve, which they should have just said that from the get-go. I don't know why they kept running with, oh, Level Up is going to go away, and they just didn't say shit for months. But I like that because there's a lot. I love watching Level Up and seeing all the new people. They're not on NXT yet, so you can kind of see them like try the new stuff. So I'm excited for them to start getting introduced into the fold. About how I didn't like how Julia, Zarya, and Stephanie kind of came in and they're just taking over right now just because I feel like it's a little overkill. And I feel like we could have spaced that out a bit more. But, there's nothing I can do. I'm not booking the show. But overall, even with that happening, they're doing a good job at showcasing the girls who have been there, who have been putting in the work. And I'm very excited to see what happens when, if again, Streets are saying they're planning mass call-ups and they're planning like a full mass exodus, and we finally have the room to like let people go where they need to go. That all both shows are gonna be 3 hours now, so they're gonna have time and the room to grow. So I'm excited to see who goes up, who stays behind, and where it's gonna go. So I'm really happy, and I really hope Bronco and Lucian can take these belts from Fraxic. Oh, that was a good move. Oh, they so fine. Oh, but yeah.
OTM.
Yeah, and DIY is watching too.
I don't know why.
I either the little short asses.
Right here.
I can say that. I'm short too. They're about my height.
So.
And these fucking bars on his ass. What is the point?
I don't know.
He makes a lot of weird decisions, and I need him to stop.
Well, ladies and gents, that's our show. Nicole was tired. That lady works very hard, so I went on ahead and put her on mute so she can go ahead and go to bed. I will see you guys Wednesday when I go live on Wednesday. You can always come over there, and we will be back again sometime this month, maybe next week before Saturday Night Main Event. We will go and do another podcast for you guys and let you guys know what's happening with that show, who we think is going to win, and all that good stuff. And hopefully things will stay chill, because after Saturday Night Main Event is going to be the Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble is February 1st.
Mm-hmm.
That is a Saturday. So we're coming out the gate, man. The road to WrestleMania has begun, and it is going to be an interesting one. If you guys watched Monday Night Raw, you saw Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, and CM Punk all declare for the Royal Rumble in one night.
I would just like to say that I think I see what's going to happen with the three of them.
Yeah, none of them are going to win.
But me and Kenny, our friend Kenny, shout out to her. We were kind of like on the same level yesterday because Punk's like, I'm going to take you out of the Royal Rumble. And Seth is like, I'm going to take you out of the Royal Rumble. And then Drew's like,
I'm going to take each other out.
I'm going to take out in some weird little move where all three of them get over the ropes and then they just start.
Watch, they're gonna make them like the final four, and they're all three of them are gonna like take themselves out.
Bitch, if they are the final four, I will.
And Dom is the last one standing.
You're a liar.
Out of the house.
I would cry and not happy tears. I would legit cry.
She knows where you live. You know that,
but
right?
I'm gonna tell y'all something. Oh, so just so y'all know, we do Midwest Melanin Mafia over here. Shout out to Trady. Rest in peace, babe. And Nicole and Cinco have a bet. Okay. The bet goes, Cinco believes that John Cena is going to win the Royal Rumble this year.
No!
Yes, he does. And John Cena did declare for the Rumble this past Monday last week. And he did proclaim that he was going to win the Royal Rumble and go back and go after his 17th title because he doesn't have it. And he hasn't surpassed Ric Flair. And he could have a long time ago, but he chose not to. With all that being said, he has declared for the Rumble and he has declared that he's going to win. And Cinco believes that he's going to win the Royal Rumble. But Nicole believes that he is not going to win the Royal Rumble. She thinks that he's going to win the Elimination Chamber. And so the bet is if John Cena wins the Rumble, Nicole owes Cinco a bottle. Okay? But if Cinco loses and John Cena loses at the Rumble and then wins at Elimination Chamber, then he has to be Nicole's designated driver the weekend of WrestleMania. There's a lot of provisions added to this bet. Cinco also has declared that he would buy t-shirts for people. It's nuts. But I will say that I like this because this is going to be very interesting. What it does is it really taps into Nicole's booking power and how her mind works because she's actually very, very good at it. She predicts a lot of things usually. She's pretty on point with that, okay? Now, there's rarity that Cinco does these types of things, so it's very interesting to me that he declared this loud and proud, and he believes it hands down. And as soon as Monday Night Raw came on last week, and he said he was declaring for the Rumble and that he was going to win it, Cinco was tagging all of us and went nuts. So this is the underlying part of the next couple of weeks that we get to partake in, because if John Cena wins that Rumble, Nicole's going to be buying Cinco some liquor.
Oh.
And to be fair, he don't need no more liquor. And I love Cinco, but he don't need it. He don't need it.
Oh,
but
man.
If he doesn't win the Rumble, Cinco has to stay dry. First of all, the first part about it is he has to stay dry the whole weekend of WrestleMania. And that's going to be very, very hard. He cannot drink.
Wait a minute. He can't drink the whole WrestleMania weekend.
Nope.
Oh,
no
God.
alcohol for him.
Speed, Cinco.
No alcohol for Cinco.
He can't even have a beer. Like one drink.
Nope. Parameters of the bet. Parameters of the bet. They that was their bet. I said, hey, are you okay with these parameters? He said yes. Because he knows he's gonna win. Those were his words.
Nicole wasn't gonna go to Mania this year because it was gonna be in Vegas on Easter weekend.
She's going.
Shit.
She's going. She wasn't gonna go. She was contemplating going to Rumble. You know, she was juggling that, but she's going to Mania.
Right, and Vegas, oh my God, on 420 too.
Not my business. Not my problem. That's just not my problem. I'd rather do that.
Damn, so they're gonna wait from Royal Rumble all the way to Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, that's how long the bet has to last, because we still have to wait and see if Cena's going to win the Elimination Chamber. But if he's declaring these types of things, I think he's going to win one of them. Do I think he's going to win the Rumble? No, I don't, because it's a very quick turnaround. You're talking about a week ago, he was just on TV talking about having 2,000 days between winning matches. Like, he hasn't won a match in 2,000 plus days. And then all of a sudden he gets to the Rumble because he's got this gumption, he's going to win. He's always had this gumption. And I just don't think they're going to give it to him right away. So I do think he's going to lose at the Royal Rumble, but I do think he has a stronger possibility of winning in the Chamber.
This is going to be a very interesting bet. I am not getting involved. My happy ass is sitting on the fucking side.
It's very interesting, but I like a good bet. A good bet always feels good, especially when it's between friends and they're not making it into anything weird. They just have this is friendly sparring, but they put a bottle on the line and a dry weekend for WrestleMania. That's the deal.
In
Vegas, he cannot drink. And if Nicole can't make it, then the other members of the pod will make sure that he adheres to the parameters of the bet.
So y'all ain't gonna let him breathe no matter what.
No, he can't drink.
Shit.
No.
Dinko, I'm kind of rooting for you, buddy.
He can't drink. Like, no, you're not allowed. You know the dude. You know the rules. All right, guys. So we will see you guys next week, hopefully, and we'll be finishing up with we'll be talking about Saturday Night Main Event. We might have a new topic next week that might not be what's going on currently in WWE. We might actually have a wrestling topic. And maybe we'll talk a little bit about AEW and what's going on over there. Maybe. So I hope you guys, if you have any topics you want us to discuss, you can always comment what you want us to discuss down in the description box, down in the comments below. Or you can always, comment over on Spotify. If you're listening or watching on Spotify, you guys can always comment over there, and we are more than happy to take your topics into consideration. It's a long year, and we got a lot of time. So we will see you guys in our next one. Thank you so much for listening and watching. You can follow us on our socials. The most active socials is our Twitter for now, which is down for the count 19. We're going to also pull up a Blue Sky so that we can have one of those as well. And then we have our Instagram, which is at D4TC _ podcast. So you guys can find us over there. Those are our most active social medias. I don't know about TikTok. Our TikTok is there, but we don't use it. And as far as I know, if we're not active, they tend to shut the account down. And I don't know how to get into it. But it seems that TikTok might be getting a stay. They might be getting it to not go down in the next couple of days because some of the senators have realized that the economy might take quite the hit.
Oh, wow. Who's been saying shit like that since they announced this back? I think that was me, right?
Y'all finna yell at me because I didn't do it.
It was me. I think it was me. I mean, we got proof here on the podcast, and I got the voice notes, but I think it was me who said that. So, and
they said that there is a senator proposing a bill to put a stop to the ban for TikTok past 270 days so that it will give them more time to argue their point. But not only that, there is a waiting period that the Supreme Court is still deciding on the arguments from TikTok. And the TikTok lawyer made some valid points about the data sharing that is happening on other apps that are not being policed like the others. And Mark Zuckerberg is the one who was leading the charge to take out TikTok. He was the one who said it's a Chinese company. They're mining their data. Meanwhile, Facebook sells our data to any and everybody. And
to that from someone who has a degree with a major in cyber defense. Okay. Any social media, anything that you have signed up for That Google does it too. Anything that you sign up for, there is a chance that they are selling your data or doing something with it because they're like, oh, right to privacy. No, we don't. And that's what I love about all these people like TikTok's giving the information over the Chinese. And I'm like, if the Chinese really want our information, don't you think they would go to Facebook where y'all put more stuff on Facebook and Instagram? You put more stuff on Facebook and Instagram, anything that has like that's part of Meta, and then you want to go over to Twitter and you want to put some shit on there because you think Daddy Elon is so cool because he's not putting down your right to free speech. But meanwhile, he would sell your motherfucking information out to save his own ass.
So, I mean, she's right. She's right.
Fine. That's why you use fake names, fake addresses. Like, get smart.
Well, Bailey just showed up in NXT.
Okay.
How's Roxanne?
She showed up and did what?
Interrupted Roxanne.
For what?
Oh.
For the fruit snacks.
Probably talk about them being the passion police or something. I don't know.
All right, whatever. I don't give a shit.
Challenging her for the fruit snacks.
I mean, I truly don't care. I think Bailey's gonna go through the transfer portal and go to Raw anyway. And I think that Roxanne's gonna end up on Raw and they're gonna have their time. So whatever. But we're gonna get out of here because I think if we keep talking about this, Alexis is gonna go on a full rant. And I won't be able to stop her. I have no control over that woman. And I don't want to get her rolling. No. I don't want to get her rolling. So hopefully TikTok doesn't shut down in the next couple of days because there's a few items that I still want to buy. And they only sell them at a certain price on TikTok. Shoot, I'm cheap. You go to their website, they charge you double the price.
This is true.
But you go to TikTok and it's like half of what they actually charge you for it. I gotta give you some more body glazes, the Canvas Beauty body glazes. I need some more of them. I got about 10 of them.
You got 10?
Actually, I got 14.
She gonna get her that African net sponge.
She gonna
I already got one. Rico, why are you in my business? I already got one. I just need to there's some more scents to the body glaze that I need that I don't have.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta buy a backup for one of my favorite ones. So I got a couple more I gotta get. And then there's a book that I want. And the author only sells that book over on TikTok. So I gotta get that. And then
hey, you leave smut alone. You leave it out of this.
It's not a smut book. Thank you. Rude. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. You shut your filthy mouths. It's not a smut book, okay? It is a fantasy book. It's in a fantasy world. It's not quite like Rico's book. Rico's book is set in an apocalyptic zombie world, which freaks me out because he's so detail-oriented on the zombies. Terrifying. Anyway, so
like if you're in a fantasy world and everyone's just really horny?
No, because it's not that kind of book. Jesus, I'm gonna end this and then I'll tell you what the book because you guys are rude. You're rude, man.